Welcome back once again. This is still Daybreak Africa, reaching from CJ saying Ondo City. I remain Ezekiel Ogar. This morning we're talking on the expectation from inaugurated government amid the pressure. Yes, it has been pressure on the Tinubu administration already. Just barely 7 days into power, and we could see all the pressure from every angle coming. And of course, we have a guest in the house to talk about the new elected president and the pressure upon the new government. A person of Mayor Osunleti. Welcome on Daybreak Africa.
Thank you.
Mayor, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Before I go to the discussion of the day, I have been opportunity to see him talk, and the way he energizedly analyzed some things, I was like, okay,
we have
the passion exactly.
And I just was having that passion.
So right now, let's channel the passion to the first question today.
Okay.
The president, in one of the interviews, that's the president right now, the person of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he said he was going to hit the ground running. And right now, he has really hit the ground running because everybody is running. Now, talk about the subsidy remover. Right now, everybody believes it's gone.
Okay.
We are trying to adjust, and a lot of citizens are feeling the heat, of course. And you must also be a testifier to that. Now, most people believe that there are no strategies on ground to make it work, and things are not really going well. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I think, like you said, the president promised to hit the ground running, and he actually did. But permits me, because I might be speaking from both sides, so don't assume I'm the anti-government or at a point I'll be the presidential spokesperson. I'm none of those two, actually. I'll just be speaking directly the way I see it, representing the good people of Nigeria. However, I think the only omission here is the announcement on that very day. Ordinarily, I'm of the opinion that there should be some talks which are currently having with the CBN, the NNPC, and some other things. I felt those things should have been in place first before the announcements. Because immediately after the announcement, although someone like myself, I was expecting this. As a matter of fact, those close to me could testify. I said it, although I was not able to get full. I wanted getting it just few, but I was busy over the weekend, so I could not. But I knew it was because I remember one of the popular videos then we had on TikTok where one of the speech of the current president then, when he was saying no matter the protest or whatever you do, that is going to remove subsidy. And if you also go down the memory lane, that most of those who participated actively in the last presidential election also have their opinion that subsidy must be removed. And if you're asking me as a person, as much as you've not asked me, I feel there should be strategies and things in place that you can't just come because it was more of a pronouncement. And don't forget that anything that comes from the mouth of the president or even those in authority becomes law in this part of the world.
Of course.
So, and within the next few minutes, you see people rushing to the petrol station to get fuel. And the question I asked, when people were like, this one, that one, that one, I was like, how many liters are they going to buy that will last them for the next 4 years, if not 8 years? So that they should calm down. All these ones are just, to me, that day I was like, all these ones are initial gra. You can't buy above 1,000 liters. I doubt if that is even possible. And after then, if it comes if you get to the fuel station, what they are selling is what you buy.
Of course.
So what's not the point rushing and everybody running a tasketa? And at that point, the petrol station owners were forced to sell at what they want. Because people just gave their leverage we want it so badly. I saw someone was selling 220. Just that day, in the next few minutes, it just moved to 280. Nobody was complaining. People were even fighting to buy, not fighting for the price. And at a point, within few minutes also, he moved it to 300 naira. Because at that point, it now became something of a signal. They were calling, how much are they selling at Akure? How much are they selling at so? Everybody just felt they could do what they want. And trust me, in this country, it's not that same day that task force will come around now. So even if they will come, we know it's still going to wait for the governor or the president, what's it called now, directive, before they will now come like a day after. So
exactly. From what you've said now,
2 days and do
from what you've said now, looking at the administration and a lot of expectations also.
Okay.
You talked about the people at the filling station making whatever they want to do with the price, taking it up and doing whatever they like. We have had a lot of issues when it comes to hiking of prices, and even when things go back to normal, they still remain the same with the prices, and people don't really want to tend to go back again. What do you make of this administration? Are we to expect anything like price control mostly in almost all the face of commodities?
No, trust me, I said I'm not the presidential spokesperson, so I really can't say what's on the mind of the president or how he intends to run the government. But one thing I can say for sure is that I want to salute the passion with which he spoke for. For the very first time, if I'm not mistaken, we saw someone who is not even a youth. This time he came around and he was able to give what he wants. There's no prepared speech anywhere that like, okay, it's this, it's
really
A and this. He was speaking like directly from his mind. So I want to believe he has, and he has, let's not forget his antecedents. He has done some things in Lagos State over time, although Lagos is not Nigeria.
Of course.
Let's also get that clear. And the federating unit is also different. We have some cabals and some other principalities too. I'm not going into that now. So, but however, I believe already he has his plans and he has his economic how to revive, because the major concern now is not just about price control. Fine, as much as I agree on the controlled price on a regulated price control, because I want to be proud that this is just part of the few countries in the world where you can do whatever you like. There's no price control for anything, not even water. Because the pure water, sachet water you buy here at, I guess 3 for 15 naira. Over around Benin, I think it's like 20 naira. And like anybody just does what they want. So you understand? So apart from that, this is like there's a serious crusade now on how to revive the economy. I think that is the major challenge as we speak. The crisis is to revive the economy. And let's not also forget that things not coming back to normal. I don't see anything coming to normal in this particular instance. Because all we said is 4 was being sold around 195, then 220, like we have it before. I mean 195 for those independent marketers and 220 depending on, you understand? So, but now we are saying subsidy is gone. And we even saw NNPC updating their, what's it called?
Their fuel price.
Their fuel price is like about 500, 5 something, 5 this and that. Before you know, everybody kickstart now like a regulated amount of like 500, a bit above 500 now. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So my own prayer, or what me I want is, if it will not exceed that 500, let the subsidy even go once and for all. Because at this point, we are more confused than we used to be. I'm not saying currently, but we've heard subsidy. This will tell you subsidy is the fraud. This will tell you there's nothing called subsidy. The other person will tell you. So let the subsidy go. I will not let the subsidy is gone now. Let's wait for the next excuse.
I think when it comes to the issue of subsidy, every enthusiastic Nigeria would always say, let it go. The inaugural speech the president gave, one of the first things he said as a president was removal of subsidy. Now, I know Keyamo came in just lately to want to rectify the issue and saying he was really trying to amplify what the previous administration has already done and all that. So for a fact, we know that the subsidy payment for the latter 6 months of this year may not be possible. Now, if he wants to come in and then tackle the issue of subsidy at this one as probably one of his first agenda on his table, do you think this is the right time or this is the best time?
No,
because in all honesty, I think there should be certain, I keep saying this, certain pillars, certain foundation, we call it mechanisms, you said it in your word, mechanisms, that should be put in place first. I think for a start, no one so far is against the issue of subsidy removal. But we are all concerned as to the timing. Exactly. Yeah. What have you put in place? We should be considering employment issues. We should be considering the minimum wage issue.
Inflation rate,
make it 50 or maybe 100,000 naira.
Inflation rate and the
likes. As it stands, we still have Nigerians earning 10,000 naira,
of course,
7,000 naira as basic salary for a month. How can they possibly afford this? Now it makes me wonder. Now we know it has been his intent from the onset to deal with the issue of subsidy, but the way and manner he's going about it, do you think is really justified? Or is he just moving out of emotions and feelings and not really being articulate at this point?
I think this question is trying to put me in a dicey situation, but as much as I can, I will try to outsmart the presenter. Because I said I'm not speaking directly for the president, neither I'm not speaking directly for him, neither am I against him. But like I said earlier, that we have to revive the economy. Currently, let me just state one of the few things you mentioned minimum wage, which we even have 18,000. I'm not even sure I know which is correct. Hold on. I know there's 18,000 minimum wage. Then at a point, we agreed on 30,000. But as we speak, like you said, there are people that work like 6,500. You are still talking about 7,000 naira. We have 6,500, we have 7,000, we have 10,000, we have 50,000. And 15,000 naira, let me use that as an example. Someone earns 50,000 every month is earning 500 naira in a day. And now from that a day, he is expected to either trek to work, that's his business. But let me assume there's a means of transportation that will chop or take out of that 500 naira. He will eat morning, afternoon, night. Then there are some other miscellaneouses like getting card and some other things, all within this 500 naira. So having said that, now let's not forget that the current inflation rate as we speak was around 22.04%, and that's like the third increase in 2023. Like the third consecutive increase in 2023.
In just 6 months.
In just 6 months. Having said that also, let's not forget that currently the unemployment rate from about 36 point something is around 40.6% also. So there are things we really need to put in place. I said something earlier, and that is also my own encouragement to the youth to get involved in politics. That any word, an instance happened, I'm sorry I'm coming, but I just want to create an input. An instance happened then where you have some people selling at a spot. So the then local government chairman of that area was like, they're not supposed to sell there, they're not supposed to do this, they're not supposed to do that. So the youth got angry and they had issues with the law enforcement people, and finally there was a call for meeting and negotiation. So while I was speaking to the man, I realized all what I was saying. He had a stereotype on his mind that there is nothing like the way I'm coming from as a right thinking youth. He's always like, all his intentions are engaged to that. So I now, after everything, we could not really achieve what we wanted. Then I now went back and I just did that. I really don't blame this man. They were like, how do you mean? I really don't blame him. Because if we have someone like us thinking right in this position, he or she will understand that any word spoken by any off camera, any idiot in power. I don't mean like anybody who is in power now. Let me say that any word spoken that is coming out from his mouth, you like it or not, you hate his face, like one of my our former assembly member we used to say that either you like my face or you do not, either you love my name or not, anything I push at the assembly is assumed to be your interest. So these are part of why we must get involved. Having said that, there are mechanisms which we expected should be in place, but like it has happened and it has happened. Trust me, I'm not the presidential spokesperson. However, now that the pronouncement has been given and we see people buying for at 500 naira, though it's hard, that's to be sincere, because salary now, we've never gotten last month's salary. That's to be precise with you. And I'm not sure there'll be any increment on last month's salary. It's still what you view to be earning and you'll be complaining about. So indirectly, you might end up spending about 50, if not above 50% of the last month's salary over on transportation. You get, but I want to believe, or let me say, I want to assume that before the next month, the government would have put up strategies in place that will be
adequate strategies
in place
within a month.
Limit of 29 days.
29 days.
Already.
I want to assume by then, so that when it comes to the next month, at least people will be to some extent convenient.
But you know when
because
you're
talking
about adequate steps taken.
Okay.
We have a lot of parastatals, a lot of places. Okay, now the
Ministries,
federal government might
agencies,
possibly say, okay, we are using a minimum wage of, let's say, 100,000 naira.
Okay.
Of course, the states still have their own say.
Even the private
sector still have their own say.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, what is really going on? Because right now I have a company.
Okay.
I'm a private owner. And I have a company. What I am earning or gaining or whatever I'm generating as a revenue can't do the same minimum wage as the federal government. How do we put all these things together?
And let's not forget that also, as a private investor, you're also in the business to make money.
Of course.
And you still have what you give the government in forms of different names, auditors and the likes. Even corporate social responsibility is still expected from you, which I'm not sure any waiver will be granted by now. So you will not tell me that what I made last month, or maybe even obviously we could not make
and that
up
is
to
exactly
that
why we are asking you that within 29 days, is it possible to bring these things to implementation?
And there's a pronouncement that the minimum wage should be increased. Like you said, we know even for that 30,000 naira, I'm not sure all states pay.
Of course.
There are some that disagreed and they're like, there's nothing can be done. I think after a while there were some bailout and the likes. I don't know that. So if even the states who are still in government, who are still depending on the federal government for allocations, could still turn what the government is saying How much more someone who is in the private practice?
You know, it's quite rattling me. For the first time in your words, you've been very uncertain. You'll be using the word assumption, maybe. You know, saying you are not, you assume the government would actually do something tangible.
And again, the time frame of 29 days.
Because
it's funny.
Because I'm not in the
government. Political analyst, you know, I think you have your statistics all in hand and you should be sure and kind of definite.
This is it.
What we should expect.
This is it. Let's get it right. It's a new government.
Of course.
I wish it was maybe a re-election. I would have used the former yardstick as the baseline for my analysis. But now, where do I stand? So that is why you see me of the more maybe I am assumption, because I'm assuming like every other Nigerian. That's the simple truth.
All right, let's leave that place. When we talk about we want to bring something new, especially in a country like Nigeria, we tend to look at the government. Just government will do this, government will do that, government. And of course, if we are going to be reasonable, we need to understand that there are a lot of factors, both internal and external factors. We have a lot of parastatals that are not even owned by the government, talking about the people. Now, in the past, let's say 8 years, let's look it back. Where do you think the people, that's the Nigerian citizen, have gone wrong? Although in one of your statements, you made mention of youth getting involved in politics so that they will have someone to fight their common interests. Now, where do you think the people have gone wrong in doing things that are not favoring the economy, the security-wise and everything? And what do you feel like they should do right?
Okay, I said it earlier that although what I stated was a bit far, so let me also commend Nigeria youth for at least their active participation in the last presidential election. At least they deserve accolade. Irrespective of who you believed, who you voted, because let's not forget the election was highly articulated, obediently contested.
Of course.
So we all know everybody going for their interest, and we see the way it turned up. So it was an encouragement actually, because before then myself, some of my team guys, we were pushing as engaged voters apathy, because to me that has been the major concern. I'm really not concerned or interested in who you vote for. And I keep saying those who vote, even those who collected money, as much as it's wrong, they don't have the moral ground to complain. To me, they are still better than those who sat at home. Because how will you just sit at home and tell me you were doing laundry, or you went to visit someone, or you played football, or you did something for this activity that will not happen in the next or before the next 4 years. But all those other things could be fixed for other days. So at least we saw a slight increase in the apathy, and personally I commend every Nigerian youth. I'm not interested in where you move to. So, and also this is what we should get right. We are too interested in the presidency. As much as it's important, like I've said, but it is good we start from the grassroots. I'm not saying it's just about how can you just sleep and wake up and have this euphoria, like, okay, you guess you are popular. Not even you are sure you are popular. You assumed you are popular. There's a difference between you knowing and you assuming. And I will use a speech by legal luminary Afe Babalola Chief, who said if he's to contest Nigeria president today, he will lose. Not because he does not know the technical know-how, nor the people don't trust him, but because the election is highly monetized and he might not be, in his own state, might not want to go that way. So obviously we lose. Now, that aside, let's now come back to we the people. We are very fast to criticizing and we don't want to take actions. So to me, it doesn't make us responsible, myself inclusive. I'm saying we, myself, I'm saying we. So it's not as if I'm exonerating myself and I'm casting the blame on everyone. As much as some of us are doing the right thing, but still, when a larger percentage is doing the wrong thing, it's still assumed that all of us. So all of us also. So let's get it right. Let's start from the grassroots. When we see people, like I've always maintained that as much as the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria Electoral Act as amended does not permit independent candidacy, we can, on our own, indirectly promote that. What do I mean by that? I've always maintained that there's no good party, there's no bad party. It is the people that make the party. Party are just mere platform. So having said that, when you have, as I am now, I have people who are of the current party who I support. And I have those who are of the opposition to and I support. To me, it's more of who you are. Because I believe if you have something to offer, no matter how silly your party might want to be, At a point, you will tell your party escorts and the leaders and the whatever that, sir, I also have my name to protect. Because this thing will not always bounce to the party or bounce to me at one day like, the mayor was the former local government chairman. What did he even do? At that point, they might not even remember my party. So if I'm saying I want to do this and the party structure is telling you, no, we don't have money yet. At a point, our opposition will tell them, sir, I beg, let me do even just these two. So that I can have something outside to indict you. That at least I did two and I wanted more. But our leader said there is no, I don't know if you get it. So what I'm saying in the real sense is like, let's go back to the grassroots. At least those ones within our reach, let's get them first. Let's learn to hold the people accountable. The people we voted, let's learn to hold them accountable and stop putting our, what's it called? Holding those who we think are our activists. There are things, do you know ordinarily now, there are things, as much as I don't earn a penny from activism or being a comrade, I just do that within the tenets of my conscience. But do you know the actions that we take now? And an average Nigerian will criticize me. That why will he do that? Is he not fighting for our interest? Is he not, I don't know if you get. And the same people are saying, is he not fighting for your interest? Is he not something? Is he not that? Even when you ask, when they call for action, like, okay, what can be fixed? These same people are the people who tell you, I'm going to my job. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So at least we have the local governments, at least we have councillors. Let's start from there. So let's fix people who we can trust. You know his dad. Obviously, he's your mate. So I'm not saying because he's your mate. Those are mere sentiments. Don't be surprised. Personally, you might see someone of 27 years contest an election against a man of 77 and I will decide to vote for that man of 77. Because to me, being a youth is just more of a sentiment. You must demonstrate character and competency. And the know-how, not just because I'm not too young to rule, not too young to... As much as I'm in support of those ones, there are more I still need from that. So the people, there's sincerity of unity. The people are becoming united now. But let's now get it right. As much as the presidency is, to me, it's not just enough of someone just sleeping and waking up and want to be the president and just wasting others' votes. I think that's the best language I can use. But it's still within, they still have the, what's it called? They still have the right. Anybody can contest, provided you can get what's it called, a political party under which you are contesting, and you are getting the form as being supervised by the Independent National Electoral Commission, which can indicate that you are the presidential candidate or the candidate of your party. But however, let we the people, and when I'm saying the people, we the people are more concerned about the youth now, because every action or every inaction will always bounce on us. So let's get some things right. We might find we might not really have the say at the presidency. But what about our governorship? What about our House of Assembly? What about our Federal House of Representatives? What about the Senatorial and the likes? And like I was trying to tell a friend who does not even stay in the country any longer, I was like, you should be proud of my constituency. He was like, well, I said in the last dispensation, the Ninth Assembly, House of Assembly, we produced the youngest House of Assembly member. I was like, wow. I said, even right now, we still produce the youngest one. You will now ask me because like, what are the old men in your constituency doing? I was like, we are technically retiring them and making them make that statement. So that I'll just go there for counsel. Sir, I want to contest to. He has no option that to bless me.
So Mayor, on the basis of appointments and competence, I think one of the things Nigerians look forward to right now in hearing is the issue of cabinet appointments.
Okay,
everybody are looking forward for looking forward to as to who the president eventually choose to be his minister of finance and all that. The question is how do you actually see this cabinet structure for the presidency? Now, let's be honest.
Let me get the question right.
I'm coming.
Okay.
I'm trying to actually get.
So you don't set me up.
Just get your view in the sense where persons, or should I say, the persons actually around the elected president, or the new president, has been, or where the people actually
tirelessly working for him.
But the same persons or group of people around the previous administration. Now, people tend to castigate the previous administration as much as they could, but I believe they actually did well.
Okay.
I'm still falling out my question.
Okay.
Now, we have those same persons actually around President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Do you think having those persons around him will bring the best in his administration?
One simple truth.
And there is this sentiment that tends to tag appointments lately. We talk about tribe, by ethnicity. Do you see that around President Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
Let's not forget this is a democratic setting though. And as much as I can say, sentiments, an average human is selfish to some extent. So sentiments cannot really be far-fetched from us. However, there's an article written by a friend also, Sam Olonfemi, and he was advising, in his opinion, was advising the president that he shouldn't make the Federal Executive Cabinet more of a home to former governors and past ministers. Because to me, in all sense, we've seen what they could offer. To me, we've seen what they could offer. It's not just about the... One thing we also need to get right is, as much as people are in politics for different reasons, some just want to be there so they have a sense of belonging. While some, they think, I've labored, so I must reap the dividends
fruit of your labor.
Fruit of my labor, you get. And some will even go as much as telling you what they actually want. They want to be a minister. Some will even go as much as telling you the cabinet which they want. Not just a minister now. I want to be the minister for finance and the transportation and the health. I don't know if we understand. So some will tell you, maybe these 3, maybe these 2, maybe this. But however, to me, the president one was the governor demonstrated the best of competency. Or let me say the assumed competency when he was the Lagos governor, and we saw people he brought on board, and that was why he could also go back to memory lane and tell you, I was able to move the, what's it called, internal generated revenue from millions to billions. I am not sure of the figures now, so I don't want to go wrong. But I know it was like from millions to billions, IGR in Lagos State and the likes of that. So I still know some of his close associates who are active and can still be placed. But in my own opinion, if I have my way of telling Mr. President, we still have others that will be ambassadors. So everybody must be a minister. So I want, to the best of my, in my own opinion, I think if we are to get it right this time, it should be more of technocrats over average politicians. But
what do you make of, as of yesterday, I think, or day before yesterday, we some days back, I mean, we saw the president-elect's daughter in the person of Iyabo changing her name on the social media to Iyaloja General of Nigeria. And I believe there is no smoke without fire. You get. So I'm very sure for somebody to take this bold step. And also some videos surfaced on the social media where she was talking to people on how they are going to, she's going to help people how to make their voice heard and a lot of things. Already going out with responsibilities and dishing out words of, let me say, confidence words like this is what we are going to do. And this brings me to a lot of concern that, okay, let's even say an appointment is coming your way. It does not be announced. So what's really going on that we're already seeing something like that on the social media? It should be official. Right now, is you know, and some people are, as David Ondain, I'm very sure you will know him. We say he was like, okay, these people are just going to make it look like, okay, it's a family affair thing. So do you share this same view of his administration?
To some extent, I want to agree with that. To some extent. Because I also saw that his Twitter page being edited to, I was like, me, I've not heard of Iyaloja General in the
another office being carved out.
I know of Iyaloja General of Lagos State and of other states. I don't know of the ones in the
Nigeria.
country, in the federation. I was like, okay, let's just keep. And so, like I told you, it's too early for me to really delve into the government. Let's still give them a few, let them even gather their momentum and we'll know where they are heading to.
Okay.
Before we know where we're heading to. But however, even the Emilokon has been personalized. So an average politician now will tell you Emilokon. So, and it could mean anything to them. You know, I said it earlier that we're in politics for different reasons. Why some just want a sense of belonging, others want the government policy to favor them. Others are looking for appointments. Others just want to build profile. And others want a say, like a major say. So, but let's keep our finger crossed.
Of course. Thank you very much for coming on the program. We really appreciate you coming out here and giving us from your wealth of wisdom. All right, now, viewers, as much as I would like to really want to put our guest on the spot, he's tried to be very, very diplomatic, and I really appreciate that. I'm very sure you did enjoy him. Right now, we'll be taking you back to our Lagos studio, which will give you more juicy package. From here, we'll be saying goodbye. I remain Michael Obagiri.
Have a wonderful day ahead. Today, I remain Ezekiel. Okay.